Well, let's return now to that statement by Anthony Albanese on Israel, demanding it comply with international law, essentially dictating how it should defend its own country. Joining me now is Joel Birney from the Australia, Israel and Jewish Affairs Council. Joel, thanks for joining me. What's your reaction to the PM's comments today?
Thank you for having me again, Danica. Well, I'll sum it up in a few quick fire points. Obviously, it's disappointing, but it's not unexpected, and it's been a continuation of the policy since essentially October 7 of 2023. So three quick fire things. The first is that we all know that Hamas is watching. Hamas commented on the 28-member state statement from Monday, congratulated the Australian government on its position, so we know that Hamas is watching. Hamas is a key and central player in the ending of this humanitarian catastrophe that's in Gaza. We cannot deny Hamas's role in this. And I will say, as you said in your introduction, this war could have come to an end with the putting down of their arms and the surrendering of the hostages. It could have happened on October the 8th of 23. It can happen today. So in terms of that, Hamas is in complete control as to the end of this conflict. The second thing is it's on the micro. There is reports of food shortages in Gaza, but I have seen clear footage from today. A scrum of media went to the border with Gaza and saw with their own eyes 950 truckloads of aid that has already been inspected by the Israelis and is now on the Gaza side of the border, ready to be delivered. It is not being delivered because the United Nations refuses to deliver it. In your introduction, you talked about the distribution of aid by GHF. That has been delivered millions of aid packages to those in need in Gaza. The bottleneck of the aid is because of the UN's inability and lack of desire to want to spread that aid. Now, you might say, well, hold on a second, it's the United Nations. Why would they not be delivering aid? And this is the same United Nations that had embedded employees that came across the border on October 7, pillaged, raped, and murdered. It's the same United Nations that its UNRWA command and control, UNRWA headquarters had a Hamas command and control center beneath it. And this is the same United Nations that has been perpetuating this conflict since 1948. So the United Nations and what they say is not a stamp of approval to either say that it's fact. But most importantly, the bottleneck of aid that is happening in Gaza now is specifically because of the United Nations. The third and most important point is on the macro. As I said at the start, Hamas is watching. Hamas praised the Australian government and other like-minded countries on Monday for their recent statement. We also know that Hamas is responsible for the breakdown of ceasefire talks and was called out by the United States, by the Qataris, and by the Egyptians because it's Hamas' singular failure to agree to the terms of the ceasefire that could bring this all to an end.
Exactly.
That clear statement was not present in the Prime Minister's statement today, and I think that is a clear mistake, and it should have been highlighted in his statement.
Well, even today, I mean, as I mentioned in that introduction, that Hamas refused another ceasefire deal, and the US said that they were being completely selfish in not, again, coming to the table. And this is the exact problem. It's been Hamas from the beginning. I think, Joel, that this was probably the Prime Minister's strongest condemnation of Israel to date. What does it do for our relationship? Is it damaged beyond repair now?
Well, the good thing is on that front is, Danica, is that the Israelis have had a very close affinity with Australia ever since its establishment. So it's not easily explainable in terms of, the normal bilateral elements such as trade or shared resources or security situations. The relationship between Israel and Australia is far deeper than that. It's a friendship. It's a deep and warm relationship where Israelis love Australians. They love what Australia means to them, and they've always had this very, very close affinity with each other. Now, I think that affinity is so deep that it will last the test of time of this current impasse between this government and the Netanyahu government. My hope is, Danica, is that if people are so concerned about the humanitarian issues in Gaza, the main operators and the main party that holds the keys to ending this conflict is Hamas. And with more international pressure, including from so-called friends like the Australian government, to exert pressure on Hamas to agree to the negotiated and mediated terms of the ceasefire, it will bring this conflict to an end with the aid going in and with the hopeful suffering of the Gaza people ceases. If the Prime Minister really wants to end this humanitarian crisis, it's emboldened on him to pressure Hamas to agree to the terms of the ceasefire that will bring this to an end.
Yeah, spot on. As we keep saying, this war could end tomorrow if Hamas just release the hostages, and it's yet to do that. Joel Birney, thank you very much for joining me on the show this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Danica.